Obviously, we want to feel all the good feelings, but what is the purpose of negative emotions? Where do they come from? What to do about them and what not to do because it may backfire? In today's episode, we are going to cover it all. Welcome to Positively Rebellious podcast. I'm your host, Joanna, a certified life coach and a clinical hypnotherapist. Episode number 8: The Purpose of Negative Emotions. We could look at emotions and feelings from different perspectives. I like to listen to Andrew Huberman's podcast, and he talks about emotions and the chemistry of the brain. I could also talk about emotions and feelings from the perspective of energy, subtle energy. But today, I only want to focus on how we use feelings in coaching, how we use feelings to overcome problems and create what we want to create when we want to reach our goals. Why are feelings important? Whenever you consider something a failure or success, it is because of the feelings you feel in one or the other. You may say, don't we have bigger things to focus on and to learn about, like money, relationships, maybe spirituality? Let's take a look. When you want to make more money, why is it? It's because you want to feel safe, secure, accomplished, capable, able to buy things, maybe empowered. All of these are feelings. And when you are in a conflict with somebody, why do you want to repair that relationship? It's because of the feelings. You feel hurt, misunderstood, rejected, resentful, maybe entitled to better treatment. Those feelings do not feel good. And you want to feel peace, respect, love, and harmony. You are going after the positive feelings. Even when the biggest struggle seems to be only in your mind, it is a problem because of the feelings. Maybe you feel conflicted, alone, confused, bored, lost. Maybe you feel shame and guilt. All of them are feelings, and you know things are right when you feel relieved, clear, forgiven, just right in your own skin. When you feel self acceptance, when you feel open and grounded. In those three examples, feelings are what create the difference. Yes, things may change on the outside of you, but the quality of the entire experience depends on how you feel. And what feelings have to do with those little daily situations? Everything. Just recently, I had a situation with a landscaper next door. And believe it or not, it was a conversation that lasted maybe 10 minutes, but we talked about feelings, and I was not the one who started. I will tell you the whole story in a few minutes. If you are being coached by somebody who is just focusing on the behavior change, on the action, you may not touch on the feelings that much. But when you are coached by somebody who is trained in causal coaching, like I am, you will talk about feelings. Feelings will come up all the time in almost every coaching session because we are going to the cause of change, the cause of the problem, the thoughts, your mind, and the feelings, because they drive everything. Part one: where do the feelings come from? In episode number 5, I talked about the model, the foundation of transformation, the model we use to overcome limiting beliefs and change our lives for the better. So if feelings are so important, we need to know where do they come from. It's normal, and this is what we are going to do in daily life, in daily conversations. We will attribute our feelings to what somebody did or said, to what's going on, to everything external. That's likely going to continue. But when we want to be aware and direct our experience, when we want to understand ourselves, why we do what we do, we need to take a look on what we are thinking, that leads to certain feelings. I love this example. If you don't love yourself, you will interpret other people's actions or words as not loving. Even if they didn't mean anything bad, you will read into their words. You will look for proof outside of you that you are not lovable because you don't feel lovable. And if you love yourself, if you respect yourself, you will not only have an issue if somebody did or said, you likely are not going to even notice that. You will be in a healthier place. Whatever somebody did or said may be neutral to you, or at least you will not take it personally. You will wonder, what's going on with that person that they choose to act this way? But you will not take it personally. If we keep attributing our emotions completely to the circumstances and other people, the government or the weather, we will delegate responsibility for our emotions. We will be at an effect of the world around us. And this can lead us to blaming and disempowerment. We will keep waiting for circumstances and other people to change so we can feel better. But you know what? They don't. There is a space between what other people do and our feelings. This is a space for making their actions mean something, and each of us will make it mean something else. You know what? I think this is the most important sentence in this podcast. There is a space between what other people do and our feelings. There is a space for making their actions mean something, and each of us will make it mean something else. Let's take apart this situation. I'm going to put it into the model because every situation, and this one also, has the 5 elements: circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, and result. This is the situation. I talked to a woman who said she was mad because her husband had work events as a part of his job while she was staying home with kids. Let's be more precise. This woman thought she was mad because her husband participated in the events. What is really the cause of her feeling mad? Was it her husband attending networking events? Husband attending networking events is a neutral fact until she has a thought about it. We discovered that her real thought was, he is having fun, he doesn't care about us. That thought made her mad and jealous. This is important to know because that feeling affected how she acted towards him and herself. She thought that she is being mean to him and rejecting him because he is participating in the events. But the fact was that she acted the way she acted because she thought he's having fun. He doesn't care about us. So when she felt mad, as you can guess, she didn't act lovingly towards him. She expressed her madness, jealousy. She told him, she accused him, you don't care. As a result, she made sure he didn't have fun, that she didn't have fun, and she acted towards him like she didn't care. This is how sometimes we create what we don't want. Her emotions didn't come from him being away, but from what she thought about it. Because not everybody would agree with her. Not every wife would have the same reaction. When you think about your emotions and where they come from, make sure you separate facts from thoughts. To do this, describe your situation factually without opinions and adjectives, and it's the best to do it on a piece of paper. Here is another real life example. My friend said, that woman attacked me, and she gave me the whole story. That woman attacked me, quote unquote. We discovered that this is a thought because when she described the moment as a fact, as other people would observe it from the outside, it went like this. She came close to me at the bar, it was a loud bar, and said, "How are you doing? It's horrible what happened to you 5 years ago." My friend interpreted it as an attack because of that person's way of being, loud and kind of pushy, and because of the memories of how she hurt her years ago. But in that moment, the fact was that she came close and she asked a question. When my friend separated the thoughts from the facts, she said, "Oh, wow, it's possible that she actually cared. It's possible she cared," is a thought. "She attacked me" was also a thought. Look at this. One situation, two thoughts, two so dramatically different feelings. When you apply it in your life. So this is the situation I had with the landscaper. You know how sometimes you clean up your garden, you clean up your yard, and the next day, the neighbor sends the landscapers over. So I come to the side of a building and I see a lot of leaves and trash all blown to our place. So I felt mad because I thought this shouldn't be happening. Between this moment and finding the landscaper, which took me about, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, I realized that if I am mad and righteous, I am not going to create the result that I want, which was him never doing it again, him being a little bit more considerate. So as I was walking towards him, as I was approaching him, I still felt this madness. I still felt anger. And I knew if I am going to take action from this feeling, if I'm going to speak from this feeling, I am not going to achieve my goal. So I immediately started working internally. I changed my thoughts to, let's take care of it together. What are we going to do about this? And I felt cooperative. We talked for about 10 minutes and he brought up feelings: attacked, attacking, defensive, frustrated. I definitely didn't want him to feel this way. So I had to make a correction in myself, in my head, to speak a little bit differently. What was the result of the conversation were other feelings: willing and respectful and cooperative. By the end, I realized that my cooperative feeling was not quite sincere because there was still the layer of righteousness right underneath this. I wanted to give you the example because it's a real life situation. You have few moments to make the adjustment and be aware: what are you thinking, what are you feeling, and what is the action you are going to take, what is the result you are going to achieve from this feeling. And I was able to make the correction. I appreciated how open he was because it could easily turn into a completely different argument. He could be stuck in feeling attacked and frustrated, but he was open enough, he was communicative enough that we had this beautiful result of the conversation. Part 2: what to do with the negative feelings. Well, the tendency is to jump out of them as soon as possible. And that leads us to create damage because sometimes we don't know what to do with the negative feelings. So we reach for all the substances and actions that create a dopamine increase in our brain so we feel better. But the problem remains. When we don't know what to do with the negative feelings, we go to shopping, gambling, scrolling, drinking, over drinking, and overeating, and usually eating something high on sugar and fat that will increase the dopamine. But if we do this long enough, we create serious damage. If we shop long enough because we don't want to face certain feelings, we'll create damage to our wallets. So, what is the healthier way of dealing with negative feelings, with negative emotions? Feeling better is not always the goal. The goal is to be fully human. Just because we have the power to change our feelings by changing our thoughts doesn't mean that the purpose is to go from one extreme to another. It doesn't mean that the purpose is to swap one thought with the other. It doesn't mean you should aim for happiness all of the time. Here is why. The purpose of negative emotions. One, sometimes the painful feeling is the healthiest response of a healthy, functioning human. When your family member gets sick or has an accident, or when your pet gets sick, you think sad thoughts and you feel concerned and worried. When somebody dies that was close to you, you feel grief. It's definitely not a time to think happy, carefree thoughts. You want to find a solution. This is the time to feel the feelings. Two, negative feelings make positive feelings possible. You simply know the difference. You know the contrast. A real life consists of positive and negative. We want to rebel against it. We always want to feel good, and that backfires. Believe me, I also don't want to hear that we are supposed to feel the unpleasant feelings. I also rebel against it. But when I do, I extend my own pain. Three, we feel negative emotions in situations when our personal safety is at risk. When you really have to run or defend yourself, it's not time to think happy thoughts, not time to dismiss the uncomfortable feeling or intuition. Four, you feel negative emotions when you are learning a new skill. Expect it. When you want to learn a new language, and I'm doing it right now, when you are pushing through your mental or physical abilities, expect the discomfort. Expect you will need to use courage. Expect that it will be a blow to your ego because you will not do things right from the start. But you want the skill, you know that your life will improve when you learn the skill, and the discomfort is the price to pay. Part 3, what to do with the feelings. You learn that feelings come from thoughts or the meaning we quickly assign to the situation. But it's not about changing the thoughts. Often the most authentic thought leads us to painful feeling. And lying to yourself will leave you feeling cheated or that there is something wrong with you. That is the hardest part, but most useful. Feel the feelings. Do not resist, do not avoid, do not react. Do not go unconscious. Instead, allow, process, and feel. Sometimes people think that allowing the feeling is the same as reacting. When you allow anger, does it mean you should react and yell or beat people up? Not really. Reacting is something different. Reacting is acting it out, taking it on other people. Instead, allowing, processing, and feeling is an internal process. And it doesn't mean that you suppress the feelings. I want to be very clear here. Suppressing feelings means that you are talking yourself out of it, that you are going unconscious and trying to do something else to not feel the feelings. The way to go is to allow, process, and feel. And here is how to do this. When you are at a place you feel painful or difficult emotion, see what is really so hard about it. Remove the story out of it. Your feelings are in your body. Feelings are the vibration in your body. The most painful feelings may be somewhere in your stomach, in your chest. There might be heaviness on your shoulders, in your throat, in your head. I noticed shame is in my head. In my throat, there is sadness and grief. So notice where is the feeling located in your body? And what's so hard about it? How does it feel? Describe the feeling moving through you. Usually, it will be hard because it will be very tense. It will change your facial expressions. It will be heavy. It might be prickly, but let it flow. Describe how it looks, how it feels, what is the texture, what's the color of it. It's a little bit abstract work, but you will notice that when you describe feelings this way, they start moving. And that's good because emotion wants to be in motion. If we get stuck in a negative emotion, it's not by some outside force, but because we make it happen. I made a video about being stuck in negative emotions. I will post a link in the description. Think of a person who doesn't feel pain or sadness in the face of a tragic event. That doesn't sound right. We won't question such persons' openness and heart and emotional health. We think that they have closed heart. Maybe they got this way through numbing all of their emotions in the past. Brené Brown says if you reject negative feelings, you also lose the ability to feel fully the positive feelings. Whenever you feel something painful, accept that this is the feeling now. This is your emotional state right now. And no, you are not alone. Everything you ever felt is felt by billions of other people because we are wired in a similar way. I mentioned in the beginning that we destroy our lives, wallets, and health if we want to run away too fast from the negativity. We want to feel better as soon as possible. So we reach for the substance, gambling, food, shopping, and scrolling. We don't even look at the cause of the feelings. And here we miss a chance of expanding our awareness and learning about ourselves. And when we do, the painful feelings will flow through us faster. We recover faster. If we don't acknowledge what's happening for us, we are closing the door to more awareness, to be more conscious. Again, what to do with the negative feelings? One, feel the feelings, allow, process, feel. And number two, look at your thoughts that led to this feeling. How your thinking created this feeling? Because it might happen that the thought didn't even tell you the truth about the situation. Byron Katie yourself. Ask, is this true? Is this absolutely true? Who would you be without this thought? Is this thought useful? And sometimes it will be true. And sometimes it will be simply an interpretation of something to your disadvantage. The third thing you can do with negative feelings is equal airtime. I really like this technique because when we feel something negative and it's overwhelming, it's because we do not see anything beyond it. But equal airtime allows us to see the reality. How do you do this? When you look at anything, you may notice that when things are bad, part of your life is also good. So you may say, people do things wrong, and this thought will make you feel hopeless. But equal airtime would look like this: people do things wrong, and many people do things right. People do things wrong, but most people do things right. Also, you may be afraid of some medical procedure. Maybe you are sick and you are scared. Equal airtime would look like this: I'm scared of this medical procedure, but I don't feel pain now. I am scared of this, but it will only last for a moment. Or, oh, my life is so stressful. But when you look at the reality of, for example, today, you may notice that you have 30 minutes to relax. So equal airtime looks like this. I am stressed and I will have 30 minutes today to relax. Conclusion. What do you want to feel on a regular basis? When you look back at your life recently, what are the three predominant feelings? Maybe there are two or three negative, uncomfortable feelings, and that's quite normal. Is there something that you would want to feel on a regular basis? Not for the whole day, because we are going through the day having a variety of different feelings, but maybe there is a moment in a day when you can open yourself up to feeling something more positive. Is there a feeling you would want to feel that could light you up, illuminate your days from within? How will you create it? You will need to find something positive to think about. You will need to interpret certain situation in more positive way. You will need to find some positive meaning in a part of your life. Another practice that you can do during journaling is when you think of somebody and you are waiting for them to do something or say something so you feel better, who is it? Who do you rely on to make you feel something? And think, how can you release them from this responsibility and take charge of what you feel? How can you release them from the thought, what they should be doing, and decide what you want to be thinking? It may be hard to apply this if you are going through a very stressful period of time and you know things may be rough for some time. I found this work most effective if I take just this moment. You have most power in this moment. You really don't know anything about the future and how it's going to be. You can impact this moment now by processing feelings, being present, questioning, and thinking on purpose. It's running away from yourself that will extend the pain. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope the trams just outside my window didn't bother you. I am recording this in Krakow, and there are trams driving back and forth outside the hotel. I will be back in Arizona, in Phoenix, November 16th. So if you want to schedule a session in person, that will be possible from the mid-November. And other than this, I am available always on Zoom. If you want to find out if weight loss coaching or creativity coaching is right for you, schedule a free consultation on my website, positivelyrebellious.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you in the next episode.